Let's see what Debbie's up to today.
I'm getting ready to set this beautiful Montana sapphire into this mounting.
Ooh.
If I can get it to sit in there. So that'll be the center stone, and then these two little Montana sapphires will be the accent stones on the side here.
So you've got a hole already there, and you're flaring the hole a bit.
Yeah.
There you go. So that you can get the stone to seat down, get the girdle down below your prongs. Your little prong. Using the wax to hold the stone.
So it's
Oh, that looks pretty good.
yeah, it goes right down in there. So now at this point, I'm just going to cut a little relief in those prongs so that when I push on them, they'll bend.
So Deb has found the elusive 2.41 millimeter burr, heart burr. So you're going in and...
So I am kind of cutting each individual prong just a little bit. So can you see them?
Okay, there we go. I can see your little cuts on the prongs.
Yeah. So I did both sides.
Okay.
All right.
Now what?
Now I'm going to hammer or set down. Actually, I kind of like to use wax for that.
Okay, she used wax.
Just stick in some more wax.
That way it doesn't jump out of your setting. As with any setting, you do not want to hit the stone with your tool because that will cause breakage. Coming at it from all sides, just like tightening down anything with, you know, bolts or anything. You come at opposites and gradually tighten it so you don't get it suddenly shifting to one side.
Yeah, that's really annoying when you finally got it all set and you find that it's a little crooked.
And then you have to take it out, and that's not easy once you've work hardened the metal. Sometimes you literally have to cut your prongs off and start over by soldering on a new prong. That looks good.
I think we're good.
Looks great. So you'll do the finish work on those before you set the center stone?
Yep.
That way you have less tool work around your center stone.
Right. And I'm setting those before I set my center stone so I don't risk the center stone. You always set your smaller stones first so you
That's
don't
what I
risk
do.
scratching or damaging your larger stones while you're setting a small stone.
Well, it's not. It's a beading tool that
Yeah.
you've sort of modified.
Yeah, it's a big fat beading tool.
Okay. So you can do this a variety of ways. Sometimes people use a cup burr, but that can risk damaging the stone some.
And that takes metal away. This is just, it's not taking any metal away. It's just reshaping the metal.
Well, and this extra benefit is it's actually literally case hardening it so that you get a harder surface, more abrasion resistant. I like that. Those look great. Since these designs are not CAD, not computer generated, the symmetry like this is a real skill. And as you create the wax or the design in the first place, you've really got to work very hard to keep everything symmetrical and balanced and looking the way you want. You want it to look almost CAD, but you don't want to do it in CAD.
At least we don't.
At least we don't. We do have that ability to outsource CAD, of course, but you know, we're known for our hand carving and our unique designs. So. There. Okay, because of the corners.
So the girdle, which is this side here.
The widest part of the stone. Yeah, this big fat girdle. Oh man,
it's a very wide girdle, but it does not make setting it easier. It makes it more difficult.
No, but a sturdy girdle like that resists some of the chipping that could occur.
Right.
So
now I have to get it down inside here.
You've got some cutting to do.
Yeah, I do.
And this is the painstaking part. You really just have to fit and check, fit and check, fit and check. But are you using your trusty calipers?
I am. I'm gonna sort of mark the area I think I want the seat. This will just give me
A nice
target.
level target line.
Yeah.
That's good. And by the way, this ring is white gold, 14 karat white gold,
Yep.
which of course Debbie cast here. So assuming that her top rails are level, she now has a level line to cut to.
I do believe when I was cleaning it up, I did that.
Went for level. Well, that's
Yeah.
that's good, you know.
And I also trimmed the edges and made them more, all this area in here and here. On all four corners, I made those as symmetrical as I can. This is a setter's tool that will, I can use it to guide
Depth.
the depth.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
you can adjust the depth on that.
And-
There's a little
and
set
I'm-
screw.
Yep, and I'm kind of checking it to see if I'm close with what I described on there, and it is. It's at the same level.
Supporting with the bench pen.
Again, I got a wobble. See the wobble in that?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Since the stone's bigger, and I'm actually kind of going for my gosh, this is bad. Look.
Oh boy, you're going to show off that pretty straight line here. Yeah, I see it. There it is. That's just the beginning. You're getting a nice straight reference
Yep,
groove,
that's
but then you're going
exactly
to
right.
have to cut a whole ton of material away around that groove
Yep, that's exactly right.
to make room for the belly of the stone and the corners, and you really never want to put pressure on your corners. Always checking, always looking. A lot of forces in this whole thing where you're really controlling and using your whole upper body like a vice.
Okay, I'm going to have to start committing to opening it up for the width of this girdle now.
Oh, the depth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very wide.
Yeah, I
And
can
it's
see
all
that.
faceted, so.
Ooh. Debbie's still relieving the metal where the stone is to be seated. Getting any closer?
Mm-hmm.
So Deb is professed readiness to hammer the stone into place. Ooh, now we've got it. Checking it for rocking.
Yeah, there is rocking, and I'm not going to worry about it.
The facets are flat planes that come together at facet junctions, and they're high points, and they're very difficult to work into the seating process. Oftentimes we'll set things, they'll jam onto a high spot, and then the person will wear it, and it'll shift to a low spot, and we have to re-hammer it to tighten it down onto the low spot.
So I'm going to get tacked in with my wax so that it's level.
Debbie's getting down and dirty with the level of the stone so she can really see what's what. At this point, one of the hardest challenges, you'd think it would be not breaking the stone, but it's really just keeping things level. And not breaking the stone. So she's using a tool steel pressure extensor or a little tapping tool, and she's trying to tack it in place from one side and then the other. And she's re-leveling it, using her wax to sort of make sure it's setting there. But the wax will give, and you have to keep shifting things. The idea is you're not looking at your hammer, you're looking at your piece. So you use a hammer that's got big enough head and enough weight so that it just does its work. And you don't have to worry about it. Right now she's using a pretty big tool because she wants some weight behind what she's doing. And she's not worried too much about tool marks right now. And control is important, but she's not working at sealing the metal around the stone. She's just trying to get the stone literally tacked into place. The angle's important. You're controlling where the metal's going, partly because you've scored underneath the stone. And so you've created a groove that will direct where it bends. But you need to also direct the angle of your tool so that your pressure is going in the right direction. You can hammer straight down, you can hammer at an angle, you can even hammer kind of up. The metal's fairly plastic till it gets work hardened, which is occurring with every blow. But you've got a window of fairly elastic material before you totally compress it. But you have to make it do what you want when you want. If you just tap away for a while, you'll waste that window by just work hardening it without getting to where you want to go.
Okay, I'm trimming up my marks a little bit.
So all that tapping and hammering leaves a lot of marks, tool marks that have to be removed. Do it sequentially with coarse filing and sanding and then finer grits of things. Checking the straightness again.
Yep.
Because the stone can actually be straight, but your metal may be
Off.
And then you have to trim it to get that visual perception that, you know, if you have a little bit of an extra curve on one end or a thicker bezel or one corner extends slightly further.
This end of the bezel is angled this way. This end of the bezel is angled this way. So I need to remove metal on this side to match this side.
Okay.
This is a pumice wheel, so if I accidentally hit the stone, it's not going to hurt it.
You can see how important a flexible shaft is in every operation. So you should put on the mandrel to get a nice solid. She's coming pretty straight down on the bezel instead of from an angle, because right now she wants that metal to go directly onto the stone.
So I'm looking at the table.
See your mark on it?
Yeah, but I'm actually looking at the flash of the table.
Yeah, can I see that?
And then I'm going to look at the corners. This corner needs to come in a little bit maybe on the metal. Just, this is all detailing that can happen in the polishing the final thing. Okay, I think we're gonna go polish it and call her good.
All right. Way to go, Deb. And you just did what you said you don't do and finished setting late in the day. I know.
So I didn't want to leave it for the weekend.
That's right. See, it's dark.
I'm in the mode.
Dark outside, folks. It's dark. Here we go.
Mode.
I know, once you get close, you just don't want to stop. You couldn't go on your weekend and really enjoy it knowing this ring was out there waiting for you.
Right. Just going in there and making sure everything's nice. Right.
So that's a little bristle brush. You want to keep it moving. When you're on the buffing machine, always keep it moving or you'll wear things away in a certain area.
This one's actually soft and long too, so it can create grooves. Okay, now I'm going over here.
Now we're at the buffing wheel, and she's using actually the same compound, which is called Picasso Blue. This is a cloth or a muslin buff. It's sewn together. It's got a real soft edge. And you just, again, keep it moving. Check your work. Make sure you're getting the marks that you want. Just checking, looking for sanding marks, file marks, divots,
Yeah.
anything inconsistent in the finish of the ring. Now the one danger with this machine is it can catch a piece of jewelry and then fling it, with a lot of velocity and damage things. So you don't want that to happen at this stage of the game either. She's feeling for sharp edges. You don't want anything that's going to catch a thread.
Yep, I think we're good.
And for comfort, you want to have everything good and soft. And ready to check and see how clean everything is. Oh yeah, the ultrasonic can shake things loose. So we've got to double check that. Little steam action. Debbie's dog there in the background. That's Niles. He's the one who likes the squirrels.
Yeah.
The dog doesn't, right?
Okay.
All right, Debbie. It looks quite beautiful. Lovely. Here's the finished ring. A 2.1 carat Montana sapphire with small sapphires also from Montana gracing the sides. Hand-carved symmetrical design by Deborah Spencer. And it's just fantastic. Beautifully set, great detailing, and she's going to love it.